Hello everybody and welcome back to my 75 hard challenge. Fit Fanny here, and today has been both the most difficult and the most easeful day of the journey so far. And I know that sounds dramatic. I'm only 3 days in, but I'm still struggling to some degree with time management and life coordination. I had a doctor's appointment this morning. Could have gotten up early, run, or worked out then, but I did not. So that meant that later in the day, I would need to stack workouts or have workouts later in the day when it's hot, and in my case today, when it's quite late and relatively close to bedtime, because that's when things cool off here. So I'll stick with workouts since that's what I'm talking about. So for today, I did an indoor weights workout, which involved a warm-up, weightlifting, and core. And then I did an outdoor run with my partner. And the weights went, smoothly, nothing surprising. The runs still feel a bit heavy. Although I'll say the last maybe half mile of the run was the most easeful I've felt in a long time. So it took me that long to get through the sort of yucky beginning of the run and then kind of hit my stride and then have a smooth finish. But at least I know I'm getting there. And my runs earlier this summer and my run on Saturday, I definitely did not get to that point of easeful running. It was like, it felt challenging the whole time. So that's definitely a step in the right direction. Another element today that felt more easeful was the water. Started off slow because, again, I was out of the house, but once I got back home and kind of got into my working day, I was able to drink water consistently. And I actually, even after my run this evening, still felt like I wanted to have more to drink, and so I'm having my evening cacao kind of wind down drink, which I probably would have had anyway, but I actually, after the run, had more water than I needed to, and then this. Dangerous heading into bedtime because I might need to wake up or it might disrupt my sleep, but nevertheless, so far my nights have been going okay, drinking this much water. And the first night I woke up around 5 for a bathroom, but this morning, slept until a normal wake up time without any issues. So far, that piece is going okay. I will say, feeling a bit bloated from all of the water, I think. But as my body gets more used to drinking this much water, I think that will definitely will shed. So looking forward to that feeling going away. The other component, nutrition, has been going pretty well. I would say in general, I tend to be a relatively healthy eater. And the biggest focus for me on this journey is reducing unplanned snacks and after dinner eating. And so today is kind of an interesting case study, I guess I'll say, because I didn't start my evening workout until 7 p.m., the weights followed by the run. So basically from 7 until 9, I was involved in some sort of exercise, and so I didn't get a chance to have an evening meal until after that. And I wasn't sure if I was going to even have an evening meal. I thought I might skip it, but I really decided that it's important for me to keep my calories up, to make sure that I'm fueling myself for this. Having 2 45-minute workouts a day is intense, and I need to make sure that I'm protecting my muscle and my bones and that I'm not deteriorating myself. So, didn't want to cook something. So I made kind of this impromptu protein snack that kind of fills in a bind. It's 1 serving of yogurt. In this case, it's a half cup of Coco June coconut yogurt, 1 scoop of protein powder, I used Sun Warrior and a tablespoon of peanut butter and just mix it together. And it's pretty good. You know, it's not like, oh my God, I crave this and I can't wait to have it next time, but it's good enough. I was low on my protein for today anyway. And so between the yogurt and the protein powder and the peanut butter, that's going to give me more protein and put me in less of a calorie deficit that I was otherwise. The issue though is that as I'm filming this, it's 10:03 p.m. So that is pretty late. Even though my nutrition goal for this program was to avoid, you know, that sort of late night after dinner eating, this is my dinner, so I'm not having a late night snack. I'm having a late dinner, which isn't ideal because that can also impact sleep, as our body, you know, has to stay awake digesting that instead of letting itself wind down. So all of that being said, I need to continue working on my time management. I need to, you know, maybe set some goals to get myself up earlier in the morning on days when I have things that that are occupying my time first thing. And in just a couple of weeks, I'm going to be back at a much stricter schedule of having to be to work, you know, out of the house by a certain time. And so I'm really going to have to do some soul searching as I get into that phase of this journey in terms of how I'm going to manage that alongside of that early morning out of the house work schedule. So far, the 10 pages has been going great. I'm really loving the Michael Pollan book that I'm reading. And in terms of my other goals, I haven't been journaling, but I've been doing these video journals. And I actually remembered my dreams for the first time in a long time. I tend to not remember my dreams, but I was excited that I remembered my dreams last night. So I did kind of an audio journal in this recorder that I use as a way to record my dreams. I don't know if the dream memory has anything to do with this process, but I'd like to think that there is some correlation between this sort of physical and you know, psychological mental challenge that might relate to, you know, opening up some dream worlds that I'm grateful for nevertheless. And in terms of meditation, I have actually meditated every day. The first 2 days I did a simple meditation as I was winding down to go to bed, and today I actually did a guided meditation, which was nice. So on one hand, today was a struggle. Of course, the exercise was intense. The rigor overall is intense. The schedule is intense. Figuring out when I'm going to eat is intense. But I am starting to find some ease in the water, starting to find some ease in the running, and just overall starting to feel myself settle into this process and get excited for what's yet to come. Thank you so much for following along on this journey, and I will see you tomorrow.